For today's video, we'll be covering exercises for the arms. We're going to be going through the biceps and the triceps and all different variations to get those different nuanced muscles to make your exercises more effective. So pretty typical, we're just going to start with a traditional bicep curl. We're going to use the dumbbells for this dumbbell curl. We're going to be targeting our biceps brachii, so the muscles in the front of the arm, the ones that everyone kind of think of when you flex your arms that cause that kind of mountain ridge. The difference with this biceps muscle compared to the other arm muscles in the upper arm is that when you bend your elbow and you bring your palm up towards the ceiling, it's the prime mover in that little motion. So bending your elbow with bringing the palms up to the ceiling, that's what really gets the biceps brachii going. So when we're doing this dumbbell curl, we're going to make sure we have that motion with the arms here. So holding on to the dumbbells, you'll just have them at your side where your wrists are in this neutral position. And then as you curl them up, you're bringing your palms towards the ceiling. So you get that nice little flex of the biceps brachii there. When focusing on form for the bicep curls, it's really important to pick a weight where you're not swinging your trunk forwards and backwards to get the weight up, where you can really control the concentric and then the eccentric, the lowering. So the concentric bringing it up and the eccentric lowering it down. What I like to do for sets and reps, 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps for my bicep curls. The next exercise we're going to do is a reverse curl. We're going to be bending our elbows with our palms down. This targets our brachialis muscle, the muscle that sits below our biceps brachii, more than the previous exercise. So again, all you're going to do is be bending your elbow with your palms down. Same principles apply where you don't want to be swinging your trunk to lift the weights up. And generally for this one, I use less weight than the last dumbbell curl as well. I also like to do 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Next exercise, we're going to be doing our hammer curls. And hammer curls have our wrist in a neutral position with our palms facing inwards. This targets our brachioradialis muscle a little bit more than the other ones because of this neutral position. So what you're going to be doing is you're just going to be holding your dumbbells sideways here and then curling them straight up. Some people like to do it where they're coming across their body. I don't find it makes a big difference in the exercise itself. When you're coming across your body, I see a lot more swinging going on. You just try to have a nice controlled motion, keeping the wrist neutral. Same as before, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Depending on like your job and your career and things, you can go a little bit lighter or heavier, just finding one that feels like a good challenge to you. Now, for when I do my own exercises for my biceps in the gym, I like to do a combination movement lately. So what I tend to do is I start in this neutral position and I curl up and then I come down with the palm up. Then I come back, palm up, and then curl down neutral, come back up neutral, come back down reverse. And I just repeat this cycle. And I just kind of do it because I find that I get a little bored with these traditional bicep exercises. So this is just one little way I do a circuit to just kind of go through all the different motions. Again, what I would do, I just come up, reverse it, down, come back up the same way I did, reverse it, back down. So I'm only just switching the positions at the top of the motion, and then I'm coming back up with whatever position I last used. I just find this a nice little way to switch things up here. Now we're going to go through 2 tricep exercises. So the triceps are the muscles at the back of the arm. They actually make up a big bulk of the muscle of the arm. So if you are trying to get some size going, focusing on your triceps is actually a good way to give your arm some size. We're going to go with an overhead version first. So having a dumbbell here, I like to start with it just over my head. I can support my arm in various different positions, but all I'm trying to do is just straighten the elbow. When I'm doing this exercise, I just am keeping my wrist in a neutral position. So I'm having that palm facing towards the center of my body in this neutral position and extending overhead. I like to do, same as before, 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Now, if you did want to use a heavier weight, you can actually do this with a double arm variation. So you can load up the weight a little heavier, have hands together, and then support yourself with 2 arms. This is also a feasible way to do this exercise. Honestly, it just depends on your preference. Lately, I've been doing it the 2-arm version, but I have also really done the single arm before. I quite like getting people to do this overhead dumbbell tricep extension because it gets people with their shoulders above their head, which we don't normally do, and it gets their triceps engaged to help stabilize the arm a little bit while you're doing these motions. So really protective when you're doing overhead sports and different overhead jobs or activities. Next, we're going to do a dumbbell kickback. This is a standard one I've done throughout my whole life that I love a lot. You're basically in that bent over row position, and you're going to have your elbow pinched at your side at 90 degrees, and you're just going to straighten it back. The last tricep exercise is more for the long head. You kind of get the longest part of your tricep muscle. This one, you get a little bit more of this short head and the medial head. Hold the dumbbell 90 degrees, bring it straight back. When I'm bringing the dumbbell back, what I'm thinking is that I'm trying to like squeeze the back of my arm. So I'm straightening my elbow and I'm squeezing the back of my arm as hard as I can. This is a really good exercise just to get overall tricep isolation and strength. Get a little bit of post delt and lat there too because you're stabilizing the weight. But yeah, one of my basics. I've done this throughout my whole life. One of my faves. So those are your foundational arm exercises that you can insert to any program. I always like to do my isolated arm exercises at the end of my workout. So I'll do my compound lifts, so the multi-joint lifts first, like bench, overhead press, rows, and then I would finish with some of these guys near the end of my workout. I only ever do one bicep exercise a workout or one tricep exercise. You don't really need to do more unless you're trying to get into competitive bodybuilding to get lots of hypertrophy. Again, so we had the dumbbell curl, we had the reverse curl, and we had the hammer curl, which is basically all it means is different positions. So the dumbbell curl palms up, reverse curl palms down, hammer curl palms neutral. Then you have the overhead dumbbell extension and then the dumbbell kickback. So between those exercises, you should be able to hit your arms well. Trying to hit your arms once to twice a week if you're trying to get a little bit of size, 2 to 3 times per week if you're trying to get a little bit more size. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below of something that you'd be interested to see next. Tune in next time.